Well, good morning, everyone. Today's supposed to be Sunday, but I'm actually feeling this a little bit after the fact because I think it's official and pretty clear and easy to say that if you go to bed really late and get little sleep, the next day is probably going to be shot. And that's basically what happened yesterday, today, Sunday. Because if you were watching Saturday's video, you know that we had some people coming over. We were hosting some people. We're having a little gathering that ended up running quite late, actually, Saturday night. And by the time we actually went to bed, I think it was maybe like 5 a.m. or something. So yesterday, Sunday, was just completely shot. I remember being able to do this, years ago when I was in my early to mid 20s, I guess. I could, basically pull an all nighter and then go to work and, basically do it, you know, multiple times a week. And that was not really a big deal. But nowadays, at my 38, I can't really do that shit anymore. So anytime that I basically miss my bedtime, my sleeping window, something happens and it takes a couple days to recover. So Sunday ended up being just yesterday. I literally didn't do anything. We were mostly just lounging around and had some of the leftover soup that we made for everyone on Saturday. And yeah, and that was basically it. Just hanging out, watching TV, sleeping, just sort of napping throughout the day, just kind of dozing off in and out of sleep all day, and just being extremely lazy, which is fine. But it is, it is like I don't want to say it's a problem. It's just, if that happens, I guess we have to be aware that that is it. And is there what's the compromise there, the exchange? Because someone's mentioned something. Maybe you guys haven't noticed, but I have sort of been taking a little time away from comments in general because it was I don't know, just I felt like I needed to take a little break, especially after that little. It was like about a week of videos. Those videos where I was talking more specifically about certain things that where I had a stronger opinion, stronger position on, and people were really mean. I don't know. I felt like I needed to just take a moment away from videos, from take a little time away from responding to comments and stuff like that. So I haven't really been responding to comments yet, and I will. I'll get back to doing all that, but. I have sort of sometimes if I check my email for something, I do get some of the emails that show the comments, and I've seen a comment here and there. And somebody was saying, like, oh, you shouldn't drink while you're losing weight. Well, no shit, Sherlock. And so it's, of course, there are many things that maybe you shouldn't do while you're trying to lose weight. Maybe you shouldn't eat any carbs. You shouldn't, there's so many things that you shouldn't do, but we do them anyway. And I think it's important to acknowledge and understand all of these facets of life because everybody's going to be different. And we have to understand where these things are coming from. If we could just not do this behavior, then we wouldn't be in this position in the first place. And so I don't think the person was trying to be encouraging, and I really don't want to be a dick about it. But of course I know that if you're, and I think most people know that, well, if you're losing weight, maybe you shouldn't be drinking. Alcohol is mostly empty calories. Everybody knows that. But it's also, part of life. It's also something that we're doing when we're socializing with people. And it's part of our culture, and it's part of our. So it's part of being human, and it's everywhere. And so, how do we balance these things? And so, do we need to take a much harder approach, like a much more hardline approach to this? Like we really don't have any alcohol ever. And, that could be the answer. But again, this is what we're trying to explore, and it's what I'm trying to explore as I'm trying to do this, as I'm working hard to lose 150 pounds. And so, I think that what this person was saying is don't drink while you're trying to lose weight. Well, of course, we know that. But then we need to look into, I think, and maybe I'm overcomplicating this, and this is actually interesting because people have said this many times in the comments throughout this entire thing, saying I'm way overcomplicating these things, and I am an overcomplicated person. Actually, I think it runs in the family. My dad's an overcomplicated person. We tend to overcomplicate things, and so if that is our nature, are we then just fucked? It's like, oh well, I guess you can't do this, you can't do that because you overcomplicate. Maybe that's part of it, and so I think that it's important to keep in mind that these things do happen, and how we deal with them is really where we might find success. Because, like, if something like, like socializing happens, especially if you socialize in a country or in a community or in a society where alcohol is widely consumed, and that is for basically all of the Americas, so North America, Central America, and South America, people drink here. Europe, actually, most places, except for some places in the Middle East, I guess. But, I've socialized in a lot of different places around the world, and alcohol is always somewhere in there, for the most part. And so then, is that something else that we just try to limit? We try to live with it. How do we feel about this? I'm also trying to do some self-reflection. I'm just ranting, by the way. I'm just ranting right now. But doing some self-reflection, because if we're in a situation where everybody is hanging out and socializing and drinking, I want to partake, and again, I don't really have an issue with alcohol, at all, actually. But I do like beer. I like beer a lot. Beer is really good, especially if it's a Belgian or a German beer. And so, is that something that then I have to be a little more mindful, at least while we're doing this? And you always get a lot of different, like a lot of, as with everything, a lot of different opinions. There are people who say, like, I don't know, like, I have some German friends who feel that beer is just part of a, well-rounded nutrition, of a well-rounded nutrition. That's an incomplete sentence. Sorry. And so, but I remember talking to an endocrinologist a couple of years ago, when we're talking about weight loss and stuff like that, and he was saying, like, well, the problem really is more, with like beer, then you have a lot of carbs and blah, blah. And he was saying, like, just go for like hard liquor and have it without any mixers or anything. So he was saying, like, when I go out with my friends, I still go out with my friends. This is the endocrinologist saying this, but instead of like, they want to buy me a beer, I say, like, well, buy me a tequila instead, so that was his approach for that. And so it really depends, I guess, and you're always going to get different opinions, but I guess, yes, like I have said many times in the past, it's not that we don't know that drinking alcohol is probably not a great idea for losing weight. We know this. So is it necessary to state the obvious? I mean, what we're going for here is much there's so much misinformation, and maybe there is a lot of ignorance about losing weight and all of that stuff. But again, as I've stated many times before, I refuse to believe that most people are overweight simply because they don't know. Like, maybe if you're, but I guess maybe if you're really young, but I would doubt it. I would doubt highly doubt, and I could be mistaken, but I would be very skeptical to believe that the reason people are overweight in general and getting to this point where we're really just, obese class 3 or whatever, that is because we lack, sorry, I didn't know that hard candy was not nutritious enough, or that, I am very skeptical to believe that that's the case we got here. We know these things, and I've said it many times before. It's not that we don't know. So I don't know that stating the obvious has anything to do with it. It's like, oh, really? I didn't know that I couldn't drink. That must be the reason, I wonder if alcoholics know that they shouldn't drink that much alcohol. And so I don't know that that's the case. And in fact, it creates a very different dynamic, because the moment somebody says that, it's like, well, of course I know. And all you do is then go on to judge yourself. So these are the things that are not obvious, and that, in fact, I'm inclined to believe are the biggest culprit when it comes to weight loss for most people. It's not that we don't know. We have a problem with the behavior, and it probably comes from, it's psychological. And we've been talking about this for months now. So yeah, basically all of that rant is to say that if we have a long night and little sleep, the next day is probably going to be a little detrimental for everything. It wasn't that bad, but we ended up getting food delivered, and again, these are the moments where being a little more prepared for the sort of the aftermath of those kinds of situations can help, and it pays off. But sometimes it just is what it is, and you just kind of have to roll with the punches and get up the next day and do your thing. So that was basically it. We will take a look at, in general, our metrics for the week. And I continue to find, I feel, because of everything that's going on, I feel like I don't want to say hanging by a thread, but once again, it's like I recommit to doing this a certain way, and then I just go. I don't have a way. I guess right now I still don't have a way to continuously remind myself to stay on track. I'm struggling with that part a little bit, and I think that a lot of you probably struggle with the same things. I have struggled with this many times in the past. And all I can say right now is that the only thing that keeps me sort of tethered to this path that we're on is the fact that I'm still doing these videos daily. You're getting, you're still getting that. I still have that commitment. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm still committed to this, and things haven't completely gone off the deep end, and I'm not gorging every day. And so that's the only thing really keeping me tethered to the process. But again, I'm struggling with it, and I'm trying to find, and it's probably, like I keep saying, and I don't know that I need to keep saying it, but it's a little embarrassing to be like, again, JJ, you haven't figured this out. Once again, I thought we figured it out. And so if this is you, again, if you're struggling with the same things, then yeah, I feel you, and we're in this together trying to figure out. And I will continue to share the things that I'm doing to try to help myself, and hopefully they'll give you a glimpse. I don't know that they will work for you. For some of you it might, for some of you it won't, but at least you'll know that this is what the process actually looks like. This is it. It is annoying, it is obnoxious, it is miserable, all of these things. It is all of those things. And it depends on the day. I actually, because I rested so much yesterday, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I just feel so much better. Like, I actually feel pretty okay today. And so, in that way, I don't know what that's about, but I'm much more rested, so I just feel a little bit better. I feel a little more clear headed. So, all right. Well, we're gonna leave this at that, and we're gonna work on looking at all the weekly measurements and stuff, and see what our numbers look like for the week, and see if we can have a better week this week. Because I'm pretty sure we went up in weight this past week. So, all right. Well, that's for tomorrow. So, see you then.